Shiyu Nagata. Brothers and sisters, many of us worry about the impact Keystone Pipeline could have on Native American land, our lives, and our health. We worry about how Native Americans are viewed and treated by big business and federal agencies. We are not alone. People are asking difficult questions about this project. Tribes in the U.S. and Canada oppose it. Even state governments question its wisdom. Despite all this opposition, big business and its allies in Congress have put money above people. The pipeline promises many good things, including jobs, wealth, and independence from foreign oil so that fewer of our warrior men and women in the U.S. Armed Forces have to fight in foreign countries to preserve our access to foreign oil fields. But when we look at potential benefits, we also see the dangers. For over a year, our Sioux brothers and sisters have stated their opposition to Keystone based on 3 areas of concern: potential environmental damage, increased potential for violence against Native American women, and concerns that this project is being pursued in a way that damages long-term tribal claims of sovereignty over our lands. First, Keystone has the potential to greatly damage our environment. The company has failed to prevent and contain pipeline leaks in the past. Future leaks could contaminate the water we drink, rivers, soil, and further south, the giant Oglala Aquifer. Nor do we yet have adequate information regarding long-term dangers to our health from the pipeline or future leaks. Stating that the leaks will not happen is naive. What happens when a leak does occur? First Nations in Canada warn that these pipelines carry oil that has damaged the environment in northern Canada and is especially toxic to our air when it is used in cars, making climate change worse across the globe. Secondly, many of our sisters now wear red shawls to public gatherings to remind us that 1 in 3 Native American women will be sexually assaulted. Federal agencies estimate that 80% of sexual assaults on reservations are committed by non-tribal people outside the tribal law. Keystone promises to bring many, many more non-Indian workers onto tribal lands, putting more of our sisters at risk. Despite our concerns, Congress has failed to strongly support the right of tribal authorities to protect our own people. We also know that such violence also impacts our young men and our two-spirited citizens. Finally, Keystone threatens the right of Indian sovereignty over our land. We need to be consulted about the things that happen to us on our land. If we have concerns, we expect them to be heard until we are satisfied. We also expect to receive an honest share of the profit for the use of our lands. And if we determine that real risks outweigh potential benefits, we have the right to just say no to the project. Disagreements between tribes and the federal government over sovereignty rights, traditional lifestyles, and many other matters are nothing new. Our history with the English colonists started out under the strongest bonds of mutual appreciation, acceptance, and cooperation between our peoples. But this has often degenerated into the use of heavy-handed tactics aimed at dispossessing Native American people of our lands, our culture, and our national sovereignties. Many feel as though Keystone represents a new war against Native rights, a war of words, not violence, but still a war to deprive us of our voice and our rights. Does Custer now wear a business suit and fight with dollar signs? Big business and its allies in the U.S. Congress have learned that many of the same tactics of war can still be used to make money off of the tribes and our lands. They have not yet learned that their actions can cause great pain, suffering, and general poverty amongst our nations. Some would say that the language of war is an extreme reaction to a simple matter. They would say, all they want to do is use our lands to build a portion of their pipeline. To us, the matter is not so simple. Native American sovereignty is a simple idea. Native American peoples have the right to determine for themselves, for their lands, and for their sacred spaces, how these lands will be cared for, and for what purpose they will be used. When a Native American government says no to a proposed construction project on tribal lands, no simply means no. Native American sovereignty means that the tribes do not have to negotiate. We do not have to succumb to outside pressures. We do not have to take money. No means no. I spoke about the early relationships of friendship that first existed between the tribes and the colonists. I'm reminded of Hugh Grant's character in the movie Love, Actually. After a disappointing meeting with the U.S. President, he is asked about the friendship between the U.S. and Britain. His character, the British Prime Minister, responded, "I love the word relationship. Covers all matters of sins, doesn't it? I fear that this has become a bad relationship. A relationship based on the president taking exactly what he wants and casually ignoring all those things that really matter to Britain. May be a small country, but we are a great one too." And he continues, "A friend who bullies is no longer a friend. And since bullies only respond to strength, from now onward, I will be prepared to be much stronger. And the president should be prepared for that." In so many ways, the relationship between the U.S. Congress and Native American tribes has become a bad relationship, a bullying relationship, even today. We must admit this to ourselves and be prepared to deal more strongly with this government and the big businessmen who hide behind it. Congress has not learned, but we have. The new invasion cannot be met with violence, but as Hugh Grant suggested, by strength. In the past, enemies of Native American peoples sought to provoke violence in order to justify death, taking and depriving our people of rights, lands, and dignities. Our warriors do not look to violence, but rather to the three traditional paths of strength, courage, and cunning, or as we say, Uwayahi, Yigaeshli, Uyolawashti. Our warriors demonstrate strength of spirit by refusing to be silenced on the issue of Native American sovereignty. We will be strong and confident, helping others understand how we feel about the pipeline and that it represents to us yet another loss of land, a loss of rights, and a real challenge to our self-determination. Our warriors are strong and confident. Others must see that we are not just being stubborn, but that we are fighting for the right to protect our land, our people, and our natural resources from potential disasters for which there are too few safeguards being offered by a company that seeks to force on us very real risks to our environment, our health, and our sacred lands so that a few wealthy individuals can become more wealthy. Chickamauga warriors work to spread the message that we have the ancient right to determine our own values and our own right to say no to money, unhealthy forms of economic development, and to dangerous and destructive industries on our lands. We are a people with a long vision, who honor the lands that have given us sustenance, refuge, and strength in the past. We will choose not to dishonor this bond in exchange for a quick buck. Just because someone else wants to sell us something does not mean that we have to buy it. Our warriors embody courage in this battle, not by facing our enemies on battlefields, but rather by moving beyond our personal comfort zones, reaching out to others to share our concerns. Keystone must become a rallying cry to preserve our way of life, not a legal precedent that serves to further erode our rights, land, and sovereignty. For some of you, this might mean recognizing and developing new strength and abilities, such as being able and willing to share our perspective with others through public speaking, writing, music, the arts, or in any other way that one can demonstrate the truth and value of our perspectives and our way of life. Some of you might be called forth as leaders to lead public protests. To you I wish courage and strength, but ask that you also be cunning, that you do not allow yourselves to be drawn into battle or to let your emotions get the better of you. You must remain aware and think strategically to hinder this project peacefully yet effectively. Choose to fight the right battles. Our real concerns are for the long-term protection of our lands, sacred spaces, and traditional burial grounds. Can we protect our lands and the ancestors if we are removed for vandalizing a work site? Can we lose further sovereignty and dignity if we threaten a few workers, but the more outsiders move in to protect them? We need to identify our means of attack and to conduct ourselves wisely. Our goal is not to harm our enemy, but rather to restore our dignity, our sovereignty, and our self-determination. Importantly, we must work together. I have spoken to the Tribal Council and am requiring these sanctions be taken immediately. The American flag will be removed from all tribal offices until the peace and friendship that once defined our relationship with the American government has been restored, and we are respectively consulted as to how our lands will be used by others. Secondly, until peace has been restored, the Chickamauga will abstain from cooperation with the offices of elected congresspersons and senators or candidates desiring election to these offices. There will be no endorsements, no speaking engagements, and no photo ops. Yet we must constantly challenge these individuals to address our mutual concerns and to needle them until our peace is restored and we can again hold joint council for the best welfare of our peoples. Third, the tribe will refuse to invest in companies that build, monitor, manage, or benefit directly from these pipelines, or to enter into contracts for business, sales, or any other purpose with such companies. Furthermore, a list of these companies will be compiled and made public so that the warriors and our allies can also boycott businesses that care so little for our lands, our people, and our way of life. I will temper this with a note of encouragement for those who currently work for these entities. Conduct yourselves in a way that brings honor to your Chickamauga heritage. Use your position to help hold fellow employees and supervisors accountable for their business decisions. I also ask our warriors to seek to assist those who feel the need to leave such employment by employing them in their own shops and factories or recommending them for hire in respectable and empowering corporations and businesses. I feel that this will be a long war. Do not be discouraged to see progress on the pipeline. Keystone is a battle, not the war. Peace can only come about when the U.S. Congress acknowledges the treaty rights and sovereignty of the Native American peoples and takes binding steps acknowledging past failures to act as friends, allies, and benefactors toward the Native American peoples and establishing protection to prevent such actions in the future. Until this happens, we must remind them that their refusal to do so places us in a bad relationship, similar to the wars that persecuted our people in the past. We must challenge them to value our friendship and to treat us with the same respect they want from us. I am Michael Harding, Principal Chief of the Thunderbolt Tsikamagi Nation. Sanoye Nada Waya Dakwado. Gageyu Nole Adashligi.